Hello and what is up guys, Rye here and welcome back to some more automation and BeamNG.drive. Today we are building ourselves the most insane van slash pickup truck of all time. When I say most insane, no, I mean most insane. This thing is going to be a mid-engine V12 van. Okay, so what we're doing is taking in this van, we're going to build it in automation, we're going to drive in BeamNG.drive, see how it drives. And I think it's going to drive perfectly fine, no issues with this car whatsoever. Let's go ahead and do the body first. So it is 1990 model year. It's gonna be 1990 model year. Partial aluminum panel material. You know, maybe it's a little fancy for, you know, a basic transportation vehicle to transport goods. But this is going to be it's a modified version. It's not a production vehicle. This is a modified version of a vehicle, probably modified by someone in their garage throwing some race car engine in it or something. I'm not too sure of the backstory. Monocoque chassis maybe for this thing, or maybe ladder. Maybe a ladder frame chassis. I don't think we can't do mid-engine with a ladder chassis, so monocoque chassis it is. Mid-engine, longitudinally mounted. It's going to be McPherson's front, or double wishbone front, double wishbone rear, so a little fancy. Maybe they suspension swapped it as well. I'm not too sure. Let's go ahead, build the engine. Like I said, V12 pushrod cast iron. A massively heavy engine. And so far, it doesn't fit the best. We're actually going to make the bore a little bit smaller, just a little bit smaller to fit this massive behemoth in there. And then increase the stroke to about 6.7 liter naturally aspirated V12. In a very, very small rear-wheel drive van. Forged internals for a bit because we need those. And a pretty high cam profile. This thing's gonna rev reasonably high for a 6.7 liter. Increase the compression. And let's just do like multi-point race intake. You know what? It's basically a race car engine someone built up from the ground up maybe. And threw it into the back of their little rickshaw style thing. I'm not too sure even what this is based off of. Race tubular headers. And we'll give it a cat. We'll give it a cat. It's got to be street legal. I'm not sure how it's street legal, but it's got to be some sort of street legal, because honestly, this thing on the street would be just absolutely nuts. Can we give it better con rods? Let's give it better con rods. Increase the RPM limit to 6,500. The pistons are a little stressed, but, you know, aren't we all just a little bit stressed? It's just totally fine. Increase the fuel mixture. Let's go 12.5. Now, MPG doesn't actually matter all that much. Give it bigger exhaust. 430 horse. Is kind of reasonable for 1990 tech. I mean, the McLaren F1 had like 500 and something, I believe, with a 5.1 liter? Was it 6.1 liter? I honestly can't recall off the top of my head, but it was an okay size. It was smaller than what we have for sure. Let's go a bit higher in the cam profile. So 80 cam profile, increase the ignition timing a little more. 450 horse, which is reasonable. This thing is not a quality spam vehicle, so it's not too wild. We can't go more in the fuel mixture. So 461 horsepower or so. And 425 torque, pretty reasonable, revs to a pretty high 6,500 RPM. We'll listen to the engine after the actual designing of the car. Now, I was really tempted to just to go full out and have like a van like this, or like that. I mean, that one's really weird. This one's kind of a bit better. Have a van, but then I thought, man, this looks so bad. This is gonna be absolutely terrible, but I kinda wanna go for it. Let's go ahead, rear-wheel drive, manual, 5-speed gearbox. You know what? It's a performance car. It's got some performance car characteristics, I feel like. It's got a V12. I don't know what more you really need, but I feel like that's decently good. You know what? I also think, just for this, we could go with like a geared LSD or a viscous limited slip diff, or we can go for an open diff and just have absolutely an insane car, and I feel like that's probably the way to go. Open differential, because nothing says a track car like 500 horsepower, open differential, rear-wheel drive, mid-engine car. Wheels, radial tires, I think sports compound. Now, they gotta be a little chonky, because this thing is gonna be, of course, a pretty thick boy. We can go for larger. So 325s are still not very big, honestly, for the amount of power this thing's pushing, the amount of weight this thing's gonna have. Let's just give this thing a little bigger in the front. Let's go like 205s in the front. Like, which honestly I think is probably fine. Alloy wheels also sounds okay. Let's go for just big old disc brakes. Doesn't matter if they're solid discs or vented discs. This is fine. We can't go for 10-inch. We have to go for. We need to go for. Let's go for 11-inch. Like this. So 11-inch wheels. We'll give it a bit of a ride height increase because we need bigger brakes. Definitely. No under trays needed for this thing. 2 seats. Standard interior, no entertainment. We don't need a radio. We don't need nothing. Actually, no, basic interior. There's no door cards. It's just empty. No power steering, no ABS, no traction control. Basic 70 safety, and then like just the basics here. Let's just do a race tune for now. So by default, 0 to 60. in 3.9 seconds. Pretty reasonable. This thing weighs 2,100 pounds. 2,100 pounds. It's very light, just a little light. It almost actually understeers at speed. There we go, we got some understeer at speed. 10 mpg average, pretty good, not bad. The cost, reasonable. For $40,000, you can get a mid-engine, super thick rear-wheel drive car, which is pretty lit, not gonna lie. Let's actually increase the ride height just a little bit, just so we can have our tires looking nice and thick. So what we're gonna do, I think, is we're gonna tweak the car. We're gonna tweak it just a bit more. We're gonna make it handle just that much better. We're gonna make it look better. All this is gonna be in a time lapse that we're gonna go over, hop into BeamNG.drive, and see what this thing can do. So let's design the car. Sit back, relax, guys, and of course, I hope you enjoy. And we are finally designing our truck van K-car style thing. It's gonna have triple headlights in the front, and I do want to do just a simple interior for this one because why not? So we make the windows transparent for now, adding simple mirrors, simple door handles, and we have these weird 3-spoke wheels currently. I do open up the back box of the truck because I want to see the engine through that, and will actually probably look a bit different even more for the thumbnail. I sort of enclosed the engine just a little bit more so it doesn't look so funky with the cutout that we have. Adding a giant gas tank on top in between the cockpit of our vehicle and the engine itself because it looks pretty cool. And then adding a few things like trying out a wing in the back, etc. that I get rid of later on, but I re-add even after that. Putting on taillights and now making sort of a custom muffler just for a little bit of an extra design thing because the stock exhaust tips look kind of funky. I painted the engine red. It looks pretty good in BeamNG. Actually, it doesn't, but it looks different in BeamNG at least. Adding 2 seats to the front. We have added an antenna, adding a steering wheel, and we're going to go ahead and actually work on the interior a bit. This is not a really in-depth interior build, but it's going to have interior aspects nonetheless. A red steering wheel, adding pedals. We have added a dash. We're going to add a gauge cluster. I'm just playing around with the front headlights a little bit more. Gauge cluster is in the front of the car now. And just tweaking things like colors, etc. Just looking at that, adding a gear shifter that sticks out of the actual dash, which is really weird. Adding some wood panel siding basically to it. We might change it later on, the color and stuff. Adding the pedals inside the car and a actual floor, because it probably needs a floor. I think we'll make the underside, the chassis transparent later on, but we'll do that later. A bumper and the taillights are all integrated together. I am playing with an actual engine to place in it, but I think I'll do that for the thumbnail, just not for the actual build itself, because it looks kind of wonky in the build. Changing the headlights, once again, making 2 turn signals and 1 projector out front. Just tuning the suspension, the handling, the 0 to 60, and in front of us is the truck Superfast. Alright guys, and like I said, this is the truck Superfast. It's probably the stupidest name ever, but I love it. It's so adorable. Look at this thing. It looks so cute and innocent. Then you see there's a little bit of a front splitter there. And you got some big old gas tank on the back. You look at the back here, there's just a big old V12 engine sort of floating there, but that's probably fine, I'd say. We got massively thick tires front and rear. I did a little bit of tweaking with things like the ride height, etc. So a few things are tweaked suspension-wise, tire-wise, etc. Brakes are actually more than comparable for the car size and the weight. Probably not for the power though and the speed. It'll be a little bit sketchy. So we've got our front end right there. We got our little bit of a lever. A bit of a handle to open the actual front engine bay area, even though there's no engine in there. I'm not too sure what's stored. Maybe like electronics or storage space. I don't know. It's a pretty simple car. We go in the inside here. We have got a few things here, and then we got our radio. We got our steering wheel, or all of our gauges and gizmos or whatnot. We got our steering. We got our gear shifter right there attached to the side with our pedals down there. It's a pretty flat floor. There's not really much foot space at all, and your foot are going to be up probably against your knees, but that's the price you pay for perfection, I'd say. The engine, of course, is sticking out the back. We got our big 6.7 liter. How big is it? 6.7 liter NA V12, 460 horse, which is not that impressive, but this is kind of like a third world V12. It is a pushrod engine after all. It's not the most powerful engine. It's not the highest revving, but it is damn cool. Honestly, there's not really much else to look at for the car. We got our own custom sort of muffler there because the mufflers are really low. The back end taillights and all that stuff work as well. And of course, like always, guys, I'll leave a link to download this car in the description of the video. If you guys want to download this car yourself. What we're going to do is hop into BeamNG. We're going to race this thing around a track, see actually how it handles around a track. We're also going to do like a 0 to 60 quarter-mile test, but I want to see if this thing, can this thing handle? Let's just go and see if this thing can handle on a racetrack. So before we hop into BeamNG.drive, I just wanted to look at the car's actual stats. So it weighs 2,130 pounds, which is pretty light. Its weight distribution, though, is interesting. It's 63% of the weight in the rear and 37% in the front, which is not crazy for a mid-engine, rear-engine car, but you know, a lot of those cars are a lot closer to 50-50, a little bit closer at least. Yeah, but this thing is going to be just absolutely terrible to drive, and it's mid-engine, it's not even a rear engine, which is crazy. 0 to 60 is 3.8 seconds, and quarter mile, 11.35. So on theory, it should be pretty good. We're going to hop into BeamNG.drive, see how this thing handles on a track, on a drag strip. It's 0 to 60, quarter mile, all that stuff. We're going to see how it drives, how it handles, with just the most generic suspension ever. I'll see you guys in BeamNG.drive in just a sec. So we're finally in BeamNG.drive with the Truck Super Sport or something. I honestly can't even recall the name. I'm just enamored by its silly looks because inside actually doesn't look that bad. We've gotten rid of the chassis, so it's just sort of there. There's no underneath. I wouldn't worry about that, to be honest. Everything's perfectly fine. The vehicle actually doesn't look like too terrible. Is it just me, or is the door handle lighting up? I can't tell. The car overall actually looks kind of good. It looks like some modified vehicle. The front end is not really doing it for me, but that's all right. This is Hirochi Raceway Long Racetrack. We're to do a lap around this, see what I can get for a time. I want to do a 0 to 60 and a quarter mile drag race, and of course we're going to jump it, etc. So might as well just try it off and see what we can do on the track here. We're not going to start in 5th. I don't know why it's in 5th. It's pretty quick, 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds right off the hop here on an unprepped surface. How does it handle so good? What is this? The brakes? There's no ABS. That's an issue. This is basically like a TVR, but it's mid-engine and it's like a tuk-tuk style vehicle. It's fast. It's so fast. It actually handles pretty good. We've got no ABS, that's the biggest thing. No ABS, very lightweight. It sort of just skips over the paved surfaces when braking. Oh. That's fine, we're fine. We're missing a mirror, we don't need it anyways. It sounds pretty good. V12s don't sound the best in, you know, from automation engines at least. But it's not too bad. Can we hold it? Oh, we held it, we're good. Oh gosh, that was scary. It's fast. Oh, we're going right through. We're fine. Oh, that hurt. That pained me. Not a bad lap. We'll take that. It's not a car that we really care about lap times. It's just something that's just insane for just the sake of being insane. Oh, it spins out really easily too. With your fuel cell on top, and a 2-minute time on Hirochi, 2 minute 9 seconds, which is pretty terrible. Is it my worst time? Oh, it's my only time on Hirochi Long ever. Well, it's my best time on Hirochi. We can hop into a drag race. I want to see what this thing can do in a drag race. So we're in the drag strip with the truck. Ideally, okay, 0 to 60 is on the left. Ideally, let's go for 2.3 seconds to 60. That's faster than I thought. I was hoping for like low 3s. And a sub 10 in the quarter mile. It is a mid-engine V12 supercar basically, and it is pretty quick. Let's try one more time. 2.5, a little slower. We did butcher first and second there. So a 10-second pretty much flat in the quarter mile. So it's it's the high 9-second quarter mile, which is pretty decent for a 2,000 pound, but it's got 500 horsepower, so it's a pretty good power to weight ratio. I want to hop into the jump arena, but I want to hop into an off-road circuit-ish, because this thing is like, you know, a mini truck probably using uneven surfaces in not as wealthy countries or Japan where the roads are small. So let's try something a little bit twisty and turny and small, and maybe not perfectly paved. Well, let's do a quick race of that, and we'll hop into the jump arena and we'll test it. So we'll hop into a track just for a sec. So before we hop into the jump arena, this is the Small Island USA. It's a mixed stage 1. It's a small little course here with some gravel, dirt, and a little bit of pavement. So it's simulating realistic roads, I think, for this vehicle in real conditions. A little bit of rough surfaces. We're gonna launch it, obviously, with our sport tire, mid-engine V12. Oh god, it's not meant for these kind of roads, and definitely not for this speed. One thing I wanted to point out, though, while we're driving here, is if we hop into first-person camera, it looks like this. So, kind of weird. I don't know why first person is underneath the car. It's just part of the body itself. That's okay. This is a mod body, obviously. Oh, it's pretty quick. We're not gonna go full tilt here because this is realistic driving. Obviously, you gotta make a delivery in your little mini truck here, and you know you're late for your delivery and you're delivering things probably whatever they do with trucks. I don't know. What do people do with little trucks? No idea. What are cars? So we're gonna keep going here. And it's doing surprisingly decent here. We're not even going full tilt. We're just sort of feathering the throttle, as one does in a mid-engine V12 race car on a dirt circuit. We'll stay in second. Under 1 minute. That seems like a reasonable time. We'll take that. My second best time ever by going casual. Almost as fast as a car. That's fine. We're gonna hop into the jump arena. We'll do a jump, and we'll see how it handles there. We'll finish off with that. So we're here in the jump arena with the truck. And again, what a stupid name. I love making silly cars every once in a while. The headlights, they look interesting. Do the turn signals actually work? Oh, it does. That looks cool. Now let's not go in first person because it doesn't work at all. And let's just launch in the jump arena, I guess. See how it drives. Let's turn around. No, turn around. Give me the camera. Thank you. Nice and slow. We got no brakes. Very poor brakes. Remember that, guys. We're gonna go in at full tilt, see how far we can go, how fast we can go too. 300 kilometers an hour is not bad. Oh, is it flying good? So about 490 or so meters. Not bad, almost the entire length of the thing. And it's pretty beat up. Yeah, I'd say that probably still runs just fine, I'd say. Let's just pull it over here. There we go. Yep, that's looking perfectly fine. That'll buff right out. We're gonna finish off here, guys. I'll leave the download link for the truck down below if you guys want to download it. I'll leave the BeamNG mod file if you guys want to download that. Yeah, it's... Yikes, that's that's some damage. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, guys. Make sure to join the Discord linked in the description because I do build some cars in Discord. I do hang out in the Discord voice chat pretty regularly, so join the Discord link in the description down below. Before we finish off, I just want to give a quick shout out to the channel members. Childish Sin, Jay, DD-Man, and Ruben. You guys are all super awesome for supporting this channel with the Quad Turbo rank. Thank you guys so much for your support. I guess, and as always, everyone, I will see you guys in the next video.